Hello everybody, we are here with our CABRAKAN guy, and we're going to be running him in the jungle. Right now, CABRAKAN isn't super high on the meta list, but we can make him pretty decent by running him in the jungle. It also means that he can find a nice niche spot in the meta when you need a magical damage character on your team and you're in the jungle. You can actually get away with a CABRAKAN jungle even at higher levels of gameplay. So I find that him in this niche spot, he can tend to be the most effective because right now he really sucks as a support and he's okay as a solo laner. He's viable over there as well, but I think that when he is his strongest, it's going to be in the jungle with a more bursty type one-shot build. So step one, we can talk about CABRAKAN's passive. CABRAKAN's passive is one of the easiest passives in the game to talk about. CABRAKAN and nearby allies take 5% reduced damage. That's it. You can see when she's in range, she has that little thing hovering over here. That's how you know that she is in the range and just taking 5% straight up reduced damage. No fuss, no muss. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. On CABRAKAN, the ability that we're going to get first in the jungle is our Refraction Shield. This ability has an active and a passive component. The passive component is that when you get hit, as you take damage, the shield stores energy. What that means for you is you can see the passive bar over here. It is building up these little stacks. There is 5 potential stacks. It gives you protections when you build up those stacks. More protections as you rank up the ability, but it can stack up to 5 times. So right now it's giving me 2 protections per stack up to a max of 6. So anywhere from 10 to 30 protections at max for the ability. When we actually actively use this ability, it is AoE damage in a cone in front of us. And if we have the passive all the way stacked, it will be more than just AoE damage in front of us. It will also be a stun, just like that you can see we can use to do a lot of damage very quickly. This is a 1.1 second stun, but the stun does increase as we rank up the ability all the way up to 1.5 seconds. The ability that we get at level 2 is going to be our 1 on CABRAKAN. This is your Seismic Rush. This ability increases your movement speed. It also increases your attack speed and gives you the Hastened Fatalis effect. So you can basically spam your auto attack, and while you're auto attacking, you actually won't move slower until you hit this ability or it runs out. It will last for 5 seconds or until you land an auto attack on anything. We're gonna back up, get towards our cooldown boots. We want some cooldown here on CABRAKAN. Use your 1 to get out of the base to run faster back to your farm. Not only does it give you all that stuff, you are immune to slows and roots while the ability is active. So you can use this as a anti-slow effect. Keep in mind, if you try to use it after you get rooted, it will not unroot you. So if a Neath is about to 1 you and you press it right before it hits you, you will not get rooted. If you get rooted and then you press it, you will remain rooted. You have to use it preemptively in order to have that root immunity. Thanks. Gotta use it preemptively. On top of that, when you actually officially land the ability on a target, it will make your auto attack do bonus damage, and it will also stun them for 1 second. So you can see that it increases your movement speed anywhere between 15 to 35%. The damage goes up, the stun duration stays the same, but the cooldown on this ability does lower as you rank it up. CABRAKAN's 1 is typically your initiation ability. It's what you use first. It is technically a auto stim in a way. It is a self buff because it actually just makes your auto attack do more. So you're technically initiating with an auto attack most of the time on CABRAKaN. It is also going to be the ability that we rank up to max 3rd. Your level order on CABRAKaN jungle is going to be, you get your 2 at level 1, you get your 1 at level 2, then you get your 3 at level 3, and then you proceed to max out in order 4, 2, 1, 3. You get your ultimate every time that you can. You get your 2 maxed up, then your 1 maxed up, and then finally you get your 3 maxed up. Speaking of your 3, we should talk about 3 Tremors, and one of CABRAKaN's most notable abilities. Tremors is when you beat down the ground all around you. This ability can be channeled for a really long time, 10 seconds. You're pretty much never going to use it as a 10-second channel. That's just not going to happen. You're either going to get interrupted out of it, or you're going to run out of mana, or the target's going to be dead, whatever the case may be. This ability has a unique CC effect called Tremors. Tremors, for all intents and purposes, is kind of like a baby Hades ult. It slowly sucks in the enemies towards CABRAKaN while also making it so you can't really walk straight. It's kind of like a hybrid between like a pull and Bacchus's Intoxicate. It's kind of a way to think about it. You can walk out of this ability, but it just makes it a little bit harder because you're kind of slowed. You're not really slowed. It's not technically a slow. It's technically a pull. But that is how the ability works. You're gonna see a combination right here that I just used. This is going to be your standard combination on CABRAKaN. I actually didn't land my 1. But what you're looking to do on CABRAKaN is pop your 1 before you blink in on a target. That way when you blink in, all you have to do is auto attack right next to them. I actually ended up auto attacking the turret. Immediately after that, you're going to follow up with your ulti in your 2, or your 2 and then your ulti, depending on the exact target that you're fighting. In that case, I 1'd, blinked, ultied, and then 2'd. That's because Vulcan doesn't actually have a jump ability, so he was stuck inside of my ultimate and had no way to escape.
Enemy ultimate
Which means that we need to talk about CABRAKaN's ultimate. CABRAKaN's ultimate, after we try to beat down a little Xing-Tian, CABRAKaN's ultimate is a large damaging ability. It has a very, very unique targeting. It has a very, very unique targeting on it. So I'll show you right as it comes up. This is actually what it looks like. So it's kind of like a block in front of you. It's just like a really big, almost like Mulan 2. It's like a really, really thick but short square. Anybody inside of that radius will take damage. And at the very end, you can see where your wall is going to come up. This ability also summons a wall that body blocks your opponent. They can get out of it by jumping over it. So using an ability like Itsunami Dash, using an ability like Thor Hammer will get you through this. But, excuse me, I should say Itsunami Jump. I should not say Dash, because dashes do not get through this ability. So while you can leap over it, you can't dash through it. So like a Rama will be stuck. Vulcan's backfire is stuck. No way to get through it. So it does the damage. It summons the wall. Those walls will be destroyed in 3 hits from the enemy. So if an enemy sits there and auto attacks your walls, after 3 hits, one of the portions of the wall will go down. Not the entire wall, just one of those individual shields. Or you as CABRAKaN, if you want to get rid of the shield yourself, you can auto attack it once yourself, and that will also get rid of the wall. Making a little rotation over here, should be able to kill ourselves a, well, it was gonna be a Xing-Tian, but it's gonna end up being a Surcat. I knew Surcat's 1 and her 3 were down right there, so she had no dashing ability, so I walled off to make sure that she had no escape skill, just in case I was going to die right there. I didn't end up dying, but I wanted to make sure she had no way to escape. So CABRAKan's kit isn't super complicated. He has one of the more straightforward kits in Smite. If you have this skin, a 10 out of 10, do recommend using the VXG. It's nothing but aesthetic, but boy golly, is it aesthetic. See? Look at that. He's afraid. Wouldn't have been afraid if I wasn't on my skateboard. So on CABRAKan, you're providing a lot of CC and disruption to the team fight. You have two major jobs as CABRAKan jungle. One is going to be trying to basically one-shot somebody right at the start of a fight. So you're going to be targeting a squishy. It was kind of a joke for a while that CABRAKan was fat Loki. But that kind of comparison does actually hold true. Your job is to go in and one-shot somebody, not like that. That's called getting shot by a minion and getting put in combat so your blink doesn't go off. I don't recommend it, but it will happen. So your job is basically you always get blink on CABRAKan jungle. That way you can initiate on the fights. Your goal when you go in is to go ahead and pop your one preemptively before your blink. Then either blink in and ulti immediately or blink in and auto immediately. I typically go with the auto. So you blink in, you auto, the auto will stun them from your one. Chances are that they will immediately beads that. That's fine. You should already be going into your ultimate, which means they're going to be body blocked off. Which means that now they've wasted their beads and they're stuck anyway. And then you can immediately follow up with the stun on your two, or it might not have the stun built up, so you just use it for the damage. And then you tremors them while their beads are down, they're body blocked by your wall, and there's no escaping that tremors. As always, with everybody in the jungle that you're playing right now, your priority should be on farm first, then ganking. You basically want to gank in between farming. Right now, there's no camps up for me on the board, so I'm going to go try to gank this Nike.
Holy shit, you're on fire!
Looks like he's probably going over to pick up a blue buff or something, or backing. Coming around on this corner, popping my one, blinking in, looking for the stun combo, and we're going to be able to put him down. I blinked in right there. He was actually standing in a wave of minions. So when I blinked in, I actually just went for the immediate 2 damage because the Thor had stunned him. And all we needed to do was get a little bit of damage. Your one does hit God's minions anything, so it will be body blocked by anybody standing in front of that auto attack. You will also find that CABRAKan 1 can be a little funky. And sometimes when you think you're gonna hit a god, it ends up hitting a minion. It does take the charge. So if I pop my one and I auto attack nothing, you can see it's not using it. But the second I attack a minion, it does the bonus damage. It'll literally stun the minion. It uses everything. So you have to be careful with that ability to try to use it obviously on an enemy god and not a minion. For the jungle clear, it's great to use on the big camp. You want to use your one on the big camp in order to get the clear, because then when you follow up with your 2 on everybody, you'll just be able to put them right on down. So Vulcan right now is totally stuck. He has to walk all the way around, a long way to get out of this. Switching out of my tremors and going to get the rest of those kills. Your tremors is cancelable. So at any time that you want to stop bopping the floor, you just go ahead and right click and it'll go back on cooldown. Like I mentioned earlier, on CABRAKan, our goal is one-shotting. Our goal is one-shotting. So we're getting our beads as our second active. Pretty standard for the jungle, beads and blink. On CABRAKan, I like to go a ability/auto procking build. This means that we're going to get Polynomicon. Third item is a little bit early, to be honest with you, for Poly. I prefer it as a 4th item. But this game, I could go back and afford the whole thing, so I'm going to get it early. The reason why we love Polynomicon on CABRAKan is what I'm about to show you. CABRAKan's one, because it is a self-stim, it procs Poly. So it does this bonus damage, it does the stun, it will also proc your Poly. So I pop my one, I blink in, I land the stun, and you can see that I got all of that bonus Polynomicon damage on top of the bonus 1 damage, meaning even a target like Nike isn't safe. Now, keep in mind, Polynomicon does proc on towers, so I can use my Tremor and then cancel out of it immediately, and I'll get that bonus poly proc to use on towers. Polynomicon can proc every 3 seconds, just again, so I can show you that. I can either use my 1 to get that bonus poly proc on the tower, or I can wait for my poly, do a little Tremor, immediately cancel out, and then get bonus damage on the tower, maximizing the use of my Polynomicon for the bonus damage. This, of course, goes for attacking enemy gods as well. Keep an eye on your polyproc in the bottom left-hand corner. That way you can maximize its utilization. Stun, boom, that pocs the Prolly. Follow up with a little bit of 2. Bada bing, bada boom. Easy kill there onto the Xing Tian. So the general idea on our CABRAKaN builds, like I said, is going to be 4 procs. So I like Soul Reaver. I like Polynomicon. I don't hate E-Staff in the right situations. But overall, looking for big, fat burst damage. Because we're looking for big, fat burst damage, I also really like Rod of Tahuti. Rod of Tahuti gives you extra damage on targets when they're at low HP. Obviously, for a god that's looking to pick off people, if you can blink in and one them, and then bring them down to half health, and then immediately follow up with extra damage on your 2 or your ulti, that'll usually finish off the job. Keep in mind, of course, you can miss your poly. If I auto attack right here, it uses my Polynomicon. So keep in mind that you have to actually hit the ability. It will use your poly even if you miss. Like I said, standard clear. Use your 1 on the big minion. Follow up with the 2. We don't use our Tremors that much in the jungle. A little bit at the earlier stages of the game. We use our Tremors to help out, but Tremors is much more of a laning phase ability. It's also the ability that you're kind of using between abilities, which I think will make sense to you. So, like, the main abilities that I'm actually trying to land, right, are going to be my 1 and my 2. And we often use our Tremors as kind of a hold-off ability. So, like, everything else was down, so I use it to keep people in range so I can get my abilities back up. You can also see on CABRAKaN that I've got a fair amount of cooldown right now. I've got 10% on my CDR boots. I've got another 10% on Spear of Desolation. You don't need a full 40% CDR on CABRAKaN, but you do need at least a little bit. Preferably 20-30% CDR is a nice sweet spot for CABRAKaN to be at, to make sure that your abilities are coming up. Your ability cooldowns aren't too bad. You can see that I've got 8-second cooldown on my second ability, even with only 20% CDR. But that's quite nice. We like that. It's a nice spam ability. We're gonna run over here and do ourselves a nice little early fire giant. I like that play a lot. Pretty much out of mana, so I'm just gonna save the rest of my mana to try to secure with a 1. Do a little fire giant secure right there. We lost our Kuzenbo, but that's actually super worth for a 17-minute fire giant. So next up, I'm actually gonna get myself a Rod of Tahuti. Normally, I probably would have gotten a Soul Reaver Poly, but because I've got so much gold and I can afford the booty, as a wise man once said, if you can afford the booty, buy the booty. And so we are going to give us all that magical power plus that extra damage against targets below 50% health. Then we're just gonna reverse back and get ourselves a Soul Reaver for that bonus proc damage, and of course the penetration that's on it as well. This is officially CABRAKaN can one-shot stage of the game. So right now you are roaming around. Fun little fact, you can actually use your 1 to get a little bonus attack speed on wards. It doesn't actually take your 1 unless you hit a minion or a god. So wards don't actually take your 1 proc, which means you can utilize your 1 for the bonus 70% damage to kill wards faster if you're having like a ward battle or something. Go poly proc that tower. Now we are officially into the assassin stage of the game. CABRAKaN may be a guardian, but you play him like an assassin. I am looking for a squishy target to literally blow up off the face of the planet. I'm gonna boom right onto the circuit. 1, 2, ulti, boom, bada boom. That's the combo that we are looking for. Keeping an eye on my passive meter right now in order to get the stun off on my 2. Throwing down the bop in between my abilities to try to get the damage off. I gotta be careful because now this Huyi is beating on me. Unfortunately, I couldn't move right there. I don't think I was CC'd, but I couldn't actually walk, which was weird. I wonder if I was rooted and didn't realize it, but I certainly wasn't moving anywhere after I canceled out of that 3. Now we're gonna go ahead, work on that Soul Reaver, grab ourselves a Sentry Ward. So you saw the standard combination right there. I blinked in, I hit my 1. Depending on the target that you're fighting, like I said, you're either gonna follow up on the 1 with the 2 or the ultimate. Against targets that do not have a way to get out of your ulti, 1 ulti. Against targets that can get out of your ultimate, 1, 2 ulti. The reason why you're doing that is because there's no reason to basically waste your ultimate on a target that's going to be able to jump out of it if they don't get CC'd long enough. So you just don't want to waste it compared to if I blink stun the Vulcan and he beadses, I want to make sure I'm already following up with the ultimate. So that way, even if he does beads and uses backfire, the ultimate's already going to be down on the floor, so he can't get away regardless. We should group up the shove middle lane right now. I actually think there might be a squishy target over here for me doing this blue buff, so I'm gonna come over and look. It's a Nike. It's not gonna be a squishy target. I could be in a little bit. Oh, there's actually 3 people here. I'm gonna die for this one. It's not just a squishy target. There's actually 3 people over here. I'm not 100% sure why there's 3 people over there. At this part of the game, at their blue, but I guess it worked for them. Definitely a very strange spot. Fire Giant wasn't spawning or anything. But you can see I don't do that much damage to the Nike. To be fair, nobody does that much damage to Nike because she's tanky. Much like the way that an assassin isn't going to walk in one-shot a warrior, neither are you, but you're gonna walk in and you're gonna one-shot hunters and mages and stuff, which is really what you're looking for. Go in, blow somebody up, burst them down. None of CABRAKan's abilities really go through walls. Technically, Tremors does. Like, if you're tremorsing right here and somebody's on the other side of the wall, you can see that actually does hit them. Your ultimate can very partially go through walls as well. So technically, you can use those through walls if you absolutely have to, but because of the short range of all of CABRAKan's abilities, it doesn't really work the way that other abilities do when they go through walls. But you can technically bop somebody around a wall. If you need to secure a kill. You probably won't be in that situation that often, though. Especially because your main 2 abilities that you're going to be using are your 1 and your 2, and these do not go through walls. Particularly, believe it or not, CABRAKan auto attacks don't go through walls. I know. We should be setting up around the Fire Giant right now. I should be sitting back waiting for a squishy target. I'm just kind of waiting around, trying to see if maybe Vulcan runs to mid lane to clear the way.
Set up an ambush here.
Somebody finds themselves a little bit far away from their Guardians, so I can blink in and get them. Oh, we shouldn't have started the Fire Giant. That's a little risky. Our ward coverage is okay. I'm gonna move a little bit forward. Surcat definitely knows that I'm here. That was a good Kuzenbo ward. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get it in time. I'm gonna start looping around on the right-hand side as I'm looking for a squishy target. Surcat went over to mid lane, so if we could find a way to like gank right now, that would be huge. Nike's kind of out of position. I'm waiting still. I'm gonna blink through this blue buff to go for the Vulcan. Follow it up with a little combo. That just beats Aegis. Hooyi has already jumped. I've got the polyproc, but I am really by myself right now. Unfortunately, they all reset back onto me. And I'm not sure what killed the team, because I was dealing with the Vulcan and the Hooyi during that fight. I forced all of their actives and the Hooyi jump. Unfortunately, the polyproc wasn't quite enough to finish up the Hooyi right there. And it looks like the rest of the team died to something, but I'm not exact. Maybe a well-placed Hooyi ult or something. But that was the actually perfect example of what you're looking to do with CABRAKaN. Blink in at the squishies in the backline. I got right in on the Vulcan and the Hooyi. Instantly deleted the Vulcan. Got Hooyi down to like 1 HP. Unfortunately, the whole team just reset onto me, because they apparently won the fight. Well, apparently. And that's kind of what you're looking to do right there. It doesn't get much better for CABRAKaN than that fight.
Jungle buff.
The rest of that was just generic team fight improvements. I'm actually gonna go ahead and take this red buff. Yeah, I'm gonna take this red buff for the one shots. Go ahead and get that bonus damage. I'm gonna keep my eyes out right now for a potential gank. You see the Vulcan right here? I'm gonna run over to this Vulcan. I'm gonna trap him, hit him with the one shot. Boom! That's an immediate burn of a fire giant. That is super worth. I'm gonna die right here no matter what. That's okay. That's a dead Vulcan, which is super worth. Now, if the rest of the team dies, this is not super worth. I don't even know where the soul was to die. Okay, unfortunately, the rest of the team also died right there. I walked in and just immediately blew up the Vulcan so that he wasn't on the board anymore. But now they're going to shove down the left lane. They're definitely going to get the Phoenix. We got 20 seconds on the soul respawn timer. Something that we should mention is that CABRAKaN ultimate can be used defensively. It can be used defensively as well. You won't see this nearly as often. But you can use it as a peeling ability in order to put a wall between you, your teammates, and the opponent. As well as, of course, using your multiple stuns and your multiple stuns and your tremors as well, in order to prevent people from getting in. Particularly CABRAKaN ulti good at defending Phoenixes. You can see that it basically covers a very large portion of this, like almost half of this Phoenix length. So you can throw down the ulti and block off a lot of section, or even throw it right in front of your Phoenix. So that way there's 3 autos blocking your Phoenix from getting killed as well. Which can be good for getting your teammates back out of the fountain and stuff like that. Try to save a Phoenix with that ultimate. Throw down a little sentry ward over here on the fire giant. Make sure we got that vision. I'm gonna use my 1 to get that bonus attack speed to take away that sentry ward. That way I don't have to sit there and tank any more Hooyi autos than I necessarily need to the dome. They're gonna counter that ward. We need to get ready for this fire giant. Here at the end, I'm going to be going a Staff of Miradin. Staff of Miradin is a fascinating item for CABRAKaN. Because when you get the Staff of Miradin, you can use standardly, it's gonna be your Refraction Shield twice, which really can up your AoE damage output. Because you usually have your 1 proc before you ulti, you're standardly not going to get 2 1s. It's going to be 2 refraction shields from that ability, which is very nice. Hooyi needs to be our main target, so I'm going to reprioritize
Group up.
onto the Hooyi if I can find him. If we can put him down in the fights, I feel like we have a decent chance. I'm going to try to hide right here. Get a little Surcat Magi's down. That's a very low Surcat. That's her jump down. It doesn't look like the rest of the boys were We're expecting that fight to break out that way. I guess they were behind the tier 2 tower. So close to getting the circuit. He actually properly did a nice little counter build here. You can see that he got the Magi's on circuit, so that way he doesn't have to use his beads every time that I won him, which is a very smart play. And you can also see that he went the double crit as well, which is going to be good against me because obviously I am completely squish. And that was barely enough right there. You also saw an interaction with the Woojer ultimate, excuse me, the Woojer ricochet and the CABRAKaN wall. I ultied the circuit for the damage, but it was also right as Woojer was using his ricochet. And so the CABRAKaN ult actually stopped the ricochet from coming through and hitting me, and it bounced off of the wall right back at himself. Right back at himself. Now we're back to the Phoenix defense stage of the game. Plan is still the same, basically. Just go ahead and look for the Woojer. If we can put down the Woojer in these fights, I still think we have a pretty decent shot at this.
The hunt must go on.
We're down 10k, but the mana isn't, the number isn't super relevant right now. Unfortunate. That was not a horrible attempt to go steal that fire giant. I'm going to try to grab this red buff. It's a little risky because they are going to be rotating over already to this duo lane side to burn this as quickly as possible. With Thor down for 40 seconds, it's going to be a hard task to defend. We have to give up that left Phoenix if they go for it. Looks like it's going to go for mid. Throw down a sentry ward here defensively. Nike jumps on in. Woojer is standing very far back out of my range. That way I can go get to him. That's Vulcan ult down. We're still kind of waiting for Thor to come up. We got about 10 seconds. I'm going to look for it to burn a beads right here. There's the beads down on the Woojer. That's all we could really hope for. We've got the Surcat dead. Beads are down on Woojer. There's actually defending potential here. Thor is in the air. That's a good Thor ulti. I'm going to follow up right onto the Vulcan. That was actually a really good shell from the Xing Tian. An interaction that a lot of people don't think about is the fact that shell stacks will stop your one. Because your one is technically an auto attack, it means that if somebody has a block stack on them, whether that's Athena passive, Bologna one, block stacks from an upgraded shell, it stops your seismic from getting that bonus damage from proccing. You have to actually hit them and do damage with the auto attack in order for it to proc. So shell is a really good counteractive against CABRAKaN. You got to see that interaction right there at that mid Phoenix. Woojer beads are still down, so we can try to go look at him over in duo. I've got a feeling he's gonna stay for his buffs. Looks like he didn't actually. Did he stay for the wave? No, not with the fire creeps. There'd be no reason to. There would be no reason to. So at this point, we got 2 Phoenixes down. We held off pretty nicely, though, considering they had the fire giant. Could have been worse. I'm going to keep taking this red buff, going for those bursty boy one-shots. We finish up the staff of Miradin, and we grab, of course, some more sentry wards. CABRAKaN. If you're gonna play CABRAKaN, I like him as a 4th, 5th pick. He does really well against gods like Vulcan. You can see how many times this game I've had a super easy time just killing Vulcan, but how I've struggled killing a god like Woojer. CABRAKaN does great against gods that utilize dashes, Rama, Vulcan, etc. Not so good against gods with jumps. But that's going to be a pretty low Woojer. There is a Surcat actually diving the Titan right now. We need to go back and try to help out. Not going to be able to reach him. They've got so many wards. I'm just gonna try to use this bonus attack speed to get rid of all these wards. Ulti to keep the Vulcan right up in here with me so we can put him down. And now we gotta be really careful. I'm just gonna back up to heal back up. We haven't lost the Phoenix yet. Gonna buy another sentry ward, rank up the beads. I'll rank up my blink next. Try to stick around to fed. Oh my Sir Cat Batman. Getting greedy and diving into that Titan room. We know who Yee's beads are down, but they're putting down wards everywhere to make sure that we don't catch them off guard. Xing Tian jump is down in the mid lane, so I'm gonna try to run at this. See if I can't get to him in time. That's a heavenly agility. I definitely won't be able to reach him in time. Mid Phoenix is coming back up soon. We kind of have to commit to this fight right now and kill somebody. I'm looking for the Hui. I'm not going to be able to get in range before it jumps. Waiting for my 2 to get the stun effect. There we go. Hui has no jump. Now we can look for somebody. I'm trying to get to the Xing Tian. That's all I could reach. That is a 1 HP Xing Tian. I'm going to take this opportunity to back up. We got mid pushed out. Now we got to get left and right. Hopefully our Kuzenbo can take down that Xing Tian. Get the blink and another sentry ward. Hey, 35 minutes. It ain't over yet, son. It ain't over yet.
Ward the fire giant.
At this point, I've basically committed to my strategy, which is if we kill this Hui, we've got a good shot. I'm not going to waver from that strategy. Haven't been able to take him down yet, but it is the right idea. We're gonna get 2 Phoenixes up off of this though, which isn't bad at all. 2 Phoenixes is more Phoenixes than we've had for a solid portion of this game. So we absolutely will take it. If we get a good Thor ulti on top of Hui while his beads are down, we can win this. Or even if Thor can force his beads and then I can go in and blink on him, we can still win this. Gonna take this red buff once again, going for those one shots. Backing on up. Instead of going for a 6th item right now, I'm actually just gonna get an elixir of power. I'm pretty sure that this next team fight will be our last if we don't win it significantly. So no point to try and save cash for a 6th item if the game isn't going to get that long for you anyway. Might as well grab the red pot for the extra damage to try to win the fight at hand. When you're defending your Phoenixes, these defensive wards are great. Always get out those 2. Also, the location right here where I'm standing, a wonderful location to have down a sentry ward. You always want to have in between your Phoenixes warded, depending on whichever side you're warding. So if you're defending the right Phoenix, you want that one. Left Phoenix, you want that one warded. That way you can make sure. Your enemy doesn't have vision on you. Particularly, this is not necessarily helpful for like the tanks, but this is really helpful for your mages and your assassins and stuff, being able to stay just out of the eyes of your enemy, or even throwing down as well the wards in the lane so that your whole team has vision on them as well. All good spots. Right now, we're just sitting back and waiting for them to push. It is not our job to push right now. It is their job. So we're kind of just waiting for them potentially to make a mistake. Our Thor is having a 1v1 over in the solo, and he might have to ulti out. He does. I mean, ulting out is certainly better than dying at this point. Throwing down the ward over here. So that way, if they throw down a sentry ward or a regular ward, I can immediately get rid of it. And keeping my eyes on the Hui, who has not actually died this game. But he knows I'm keeping my eyes on him. We don't want to commit too much to a Xing Tian, and I got to be careful about blinking in. Here we go. Blinking in the back line. That's going to be half HP. That's his Aegis. That's his beads. Timing my ultimate right after using my 1 to immunity those slows off of me. That is a dead Hui. We've got to be careful here. We're definitely going to lose mid Phoenix. Right Phoenix is already down, so I'm going to start heading over towards duo lane side Phoenix. We got to be able to keep this alive. I don't actually think they know that I'm here, so I'm going to sit here and be sneaky, looking for the... Oh, Sir Cat! Going to be able to put him down immediately as well. Now I'm just trying to run away without dying. Not going to be able to get away, but we did take out yet another squishy immediately. Now this is going to be very hard. There's a lot of creeps here. We need our Kuzenmo to go defend the Titan. They can't dive out too far. Somebody's got to back up and defend the Titan. There's a lot of creeps in there on it. Volcano goes down. Kuzenmo might die for chasing out that far. We've still got one Phoenix up. Vulcan is going to have a wave of creeps, though. He'll probably be able to get that third Phoenix down. We finally actually accomplished exactly what we were looking to do, though, which was to dive in on the Woojer, put him down immediately. He is the majority of their Phoenix play. You can see how much longer it took them to do those Phoenixes without their Woojer. Now that I've got enough gold, I'm going to get my speed potion online and get myself another red pot, following up by a sentry ward after I spawn. This is officially the time of the game where we got to get all these wards out. When you get down 3 Phoenixes, you have to assume that the enemy team is going to come in and dive your Titan. So what you're actually looking to do in terms of defense is you're looking to get out all sorts of deep wards, and then you have to fight outside of your Titan room. So when we see the enemy running down a lane, we have to actually initiate on them in the lane. If we let the fight get to our Titan room, we're going to lose the fight no matter what. You know, one Volcano is just going to end the game. So you basically just have to force a fight in one of your lanes and just hope for the best. Is what you're looking to do when the games go this late and the Titans are this low. Sometimes even standing sneakily in the jungle while waiting for vision is not a bad idea. You've obviously got to keep the lanes pushed out.
Yes.
Retreat.
I don't know if we should. I think we should literally just wait for Thor and fight them in the right lane. I think we go right here and we gank. They're gonna shove in. We're gonna have to gank. If I had to guess, they're gonna be running down right lane. We have to fight. Yeah, we're gonna gank right here. Yeah, this is the fight that we have to go for. They don't have their Xing Tian here. They're moving up to clear this wave. We have to go for this fight immediately. Going for the Vulcan. That's his beads. That's his Aegis. I'm gonna try to bead myself out of some of this sticky situation. There we go. I'm going back for the Woojer. I'm not gonna be able to reach him quite yet. I got one shot by that Yeezus in the back line. But this is kind of the only fight that we had an opportunity to take. We've gotten 2 down. They've got creeps in the base. It's gonna be close. We just couldn't get to the Woojer in the back line. But that was actually not a bad attempt at that gank. We had the Xing Tian away at the start of the fight, so it was a 5v4. We caught him off guard. We had to fight outside of the Titan room, but not a bad attempt at all in this 42-minute long game. Well, we got to show off a nice CABRAKaN build. We got to show off some nice combos, some one-shots, and of course, how exactly you're looking to roam around the map, clearing out those camps and clearing out the enemy guys. And that is our CABRAKaN guide in his most efficient role, that of course being the jungle. The most important thing to keep in mind for your CABRAKaN, like I said, he thrives against gods that don't have jumps. So gods like Vulcan, he can do really well against. So you're looking to like 4th, 5th pick CABRAKaN as a jungler after you already know what the enemy has picked a little bit, and pick it into those characters that can't get out of his ultimate.